I'm Jenny Simon, Director of Marketing and Client Communications at IBACOS. I'm here today with my colleague, Building Performance Specialist, Andrew Shipp. Andrew is among this year's new additions to the Perform team, and we are so thrilled to have him. Prior to joining IBACOS, Andrew served as a field manager for a large production home builder. And in that role, he was responsible for the day-to-day site activity and the management and building of hundreds of homes. So Andrew, thank you so much for joining me today.
Yeah, of course, Jenny. Thank you for having me. I've been looking forward to this.
Awesome. So what were some of your greatest challenges when you were working in the field?
Well, how much time do we have for this interview? Because there were a lot. And I mean, to be honest, every position on a work site has its own, unique challenges, whether that's being the supervisor or one of the workers on site or, warranty reps, sales, etc. Everybody's got their own challenges. So, I would say in today's world, if you ask people that, they would obviously say, the large shortage of materials and labor that we're seeing all across the country is a huge challenge that's affecting the industry as a whole. For myself personally, when I was on the job, the first supervisor who trained me, the first thing he told me when I got on the job site was construction is all about relationships. So for me, my biggest challenge is managing relationships. So whether that's dealing with your trades, making sure that they have what they need to be successful, or interacting with your office management, customers are a big one, managing those relationships, city inspectors, sales staff, and everyone in between. The hard part is your management style has to change depending on who you're interacting with. You have to be multidimensional. So, and that doesn't mean changing who you are, but just being, I guess, intelligent enough to know, who you're interacting with, because everyone's different. So how can you connect with them to get something accomplished?
So what would you say you've learned in the last quarter that you've been with IBACOS that you wish you would have known when you were in that position working in the field?
It's a great question. I've learned a lot, even in the short amount of time that I've been with IBACOS, especially as far as, the building science and kind of learning the why behind the what. Just because something is done one way in a certain area doesn't mean it's the correct way or the best way to do something.
Yeah.
And working with IBACOS has definitely given me an advantage that others may not have, and that's of seeing how different builders operate in different areas, and also how even the same builder can operate differently depending what area that they're in.
Sure.
And I mean, in this short amount of time, I've seen areas that are kind of like the Wild West as far as safety, and people don't really follow OSHA guidelines, and other areas where I can't find a single safety violation.
Yeah.
I've seen areas where showers and tubs are beautifully waterproofed and have little risk for leaks, and I've seen areas where showers and tubs being built have a higher potential for leaks. I'm not going to tell people how to do their jobs. Everyone has their own process and how they do things. I guess what I would say though is, if you think something is done correctly, take a minute, do some research and just confirm. And then if you think something can be done better, it probably can.
What is one piece of advice that you would offer to those folks who are currently still working, in a field position that's similar to the one that you held?
At the end of the day, as the supervisor, what are your expectations for running that site? Do you expect to run a clean and safe job site? Do you expect to turn over a quality house to the buyers? I mean, I hope that's obviously a yes. And if it's a yes, that hopefully means that you're getting out in the field and you're inspecting the work that people are doing, because you have to essentially sign off on that work and say that, yes, this meets my standards. And then you move forward. If it's not meeting your standards, what can be done to fix that? Whether it's offering more support to the trades to make sure they have what they need, or spending more time yourself out in the field, inspecting those items to make sure that they meet your standards.
Any final thoughts that you'd like to offer?
The reality is there's always going to be things going wrong on a construction site. For better or worse, that's kind of the nature of construction. And we all dream of a day when things will run perfectly smooth and all the schedules will hit all of their dates. But that's not currently the world that we live in. You know, I've seen too many times where, all these issues that come up, they stress people out and it kind of builds up over time. People get caught up in the hustle and bustle and really forget that, we control our attitude on how we view these things. As these items come up, you get to decide whether, is this item going to ruin my day, which is going to negatively impact how I interact and manage those relationships that I talked about earlier, or whether as these items come up, I say, you know what, this is just a normal part of building something on this scale. And then you do your best to fix that issue and then you move on. You put it behind you in the past because you don't want that to affect, your work moving forward. So, realize that we're all there for the same purpose, whether it's supervisors, workers, salespeople, etc. And, we're there to build what is essentially the most expensive item that a person is going to purchase in their life. And we can't do that if we don't act as a team together.